gon' cushion every empire fall. You scream free care, gonna flip this nation crimson like a Kremlin in a propaganda Sunday spread. But your favorite foreign fortress got the whole dose, no cost, check up baked into the state instead. We grew up wading through a maelstrom of bailouts, black ink handouts when the big sharks crawl. Watch Fortune 500 felons get a heaven of exemption while our folks hit walls. So if this rig roulette is what you call a free and fearless market in the glory of the bourgeois suite, don't you dare come preach that sermon at the broke kids table when the welfare's wide to the lobby, not the street. Granddad flinch when the word gets mentioned. Cold War tension in his television weathered eyes. He still see hammers and sickles in the static every time a public clinic even gets theorized. Back when propaganda painted every union with a gulag hue and red scare siren in his veins. Nobody told him that the banks were gonna socialize losses while the profits flew private planes. We seen CEOs parachute with platinum packages, crash the planet and get plaques and praise, while the same old suits hitting you on the mind with a GoFundMe link for a chemo phase. Call it liquidity backstop, essential stability, macro-prudential emergency plan. But your mama's insulin cap gets labeled as a Marxist manifesto, one American scam. You weaponize buzzwords, run that script like firmware. Fear flare every time we question the scheme, while you quietly baptize balance sheets and taxpayer blood to keep the Dow Jones clean. If socialism means my neighbor's cough ain't bankruptcy, you scream Stalin in the cul-de-sac. But $1 trillion talk for the hedge fund seconds leadership strength, we got your back. No. They say socialism like a specter in the sector, whisper lectures in the echo of the marble hall. While we've been living through revisions of decisions where the treasury gon' cushion every empire fall. You scream free care, gonna flip this nation crimson like a Kremlin in a propaganda Sunday spread. But your favorite foreign fortress got the whole dose, no cost, check a bacon to the state instead. We grew up wading through a maelstrom of bailouts, black ink handouts when the big sharks crawl. Watch Fortune 500 felons get a heaven of exemption while our folks hit walls. So if this red roulette is what you call a free and fearless market in the glory of the bourgeois suite, don't you dare come preach that sermon at the broke kids table when the welfare's wide to the lobby, not the street. You clap for all-inclusive coverage in a covenant across the ocean where the flagship flies. Toast champagne to a conscript doc who patches up your favorite outposts under desert skies. That flag is blessed when it budgets universal bandages for citizens from cradle in a grave. But the second we suggest a similar safety net at home, you scream you want the state to own your soul, you slave. You post selfies in the Nipsey lobby, brag they take care of their people, that's why they win. They turn around, call your cousin lazy cause he missed the payment and they cut his insulin. Neocon doctrine got a doctrinaire glitch, coded contradiction in the firmware core. Healthcare based if it props your proxy, but Venezuela if it knocks on your own front door. We ain't petitioning for 5-year famine plans, commissar quotas, gulag trains at dawn. We just tired of watching Walgreens on our lungs while Raytheon keeps drawing on. You talk small state while you pump that state into missiles. Think tanks, spook world rent, then tell a waitress with a slip this. Sorry, sweetheart, every benefit's a communist event. They say socialism like a specter in the sector, whisper lectures in the echo of the marble hall. While we've been living through revisions of decisions where the treasury gon' cushion every empire fall. You scream free care, gonna flip this nation crimson like a Kremlin in a propaganda Sunday spread. But your favorite foreign fortress got the whole dose, no cost, check a bacon to the state instead. We grew up wading through a maelstrom of bailouts, black ink handouts when the big sharks crawl. Watch Fortune 500 felons get a heaven of exemption while our folks hit walls. So if this red roulette is what you call a free and fearless market in the glory of the bourgeois suite, don't you dare come preach that sermon at the broke kids table when the welfare's wired to the lobby, not the street. Osiris in the background tab, scrolling stats like Psalms with a digital rosary clutch, overlaying Fed charts on foreclosure maps, seeing who gets saved and who don't matter much. He like, look how they nationalizing merges for hedge positions every time.
Mass limit. Red Cape Dog. Osiris on the hunt for the green tea, pose a Vogue cover clout. Hero script written in Hollywood town. Your penthouse, novel kick doors down. Mattresses flip, laptops gone found. Gas in the 400, granny freeze in the dark. Butter skimming millions, war pop, river $100 bill, protein, snatch a gunpoint, churches, band, parties dead. Still no light, sweaty ex-comedian. 8 balls in the palace, Dubai bags heavier. Oligarchs count balance, make up running, costume rip the threads. 2025 receipt for the greatest con never said. See the house, foundation crack. Old monsters, new monsters, fighting for the set. You wanna scout, freeze the trench. Sacrifice the one who knows where bodies buried. Green t-shirt, nose candy, ye money. Rent came due, mask off, cook on the news, skirt, that's Colombian. Narco club circus, welcome to the EU. Good luck. Sorry, still hunting, no signal. Mask off, rent due. Static.
I'm still tripping how Zelensky was doing his little recorded talk or speech, and he has a white substance fall out of his nose, and you can't believe that this stuff is real, man. It just can't be real. I was like, this is not happening right now. I'm out, man. I can't do this anymore. Somebody's playing a trick on me, man. I'm gonna talk about Pierce versus Nick. We'll talk about why it matters and such. Ohio State put that ass beating down on Michigan. If you don't know, I went to Michigan. It's tough. I grew up in Ohio and I went to Michigan. I when I first went to Michigan, I tried to fight it because I'm like, I'm only here for the academics. I'm not here for anything. So who cares about the sports? And then at that time, Michigan was beating Ohio State, believe it or not. Ohio State was better, but they kept losing to Michigan. I believe those were Cooper years. I believe John Cooper. Blast from the past name there. And I went to, I think it was my sophomore year. I went to my first Michigan game, and then I fell in love with Michigan as well. I just loved the big house, the stadium, the bowl, man. I used to get the tickets right before the game. I never went to any big games because they were too expensive. I never got student tickets, but most any game, you know, after the game starts, you get a ticket for $20 and sit, you know, some nosebleed, but sometimes I would sit right by the tunnel. That was actually my favorite place to sit, was right at there's only one tunnel in the stadium. So when you're coming out the tunnel, right on the left, about 5 to 10 rows up and just a little bit in, that was my spot. Good memories. Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Deuce. That's where I met Athletic Mike League. Zoe. Well, Zoe was in Detroit, but Mayor Hawthorne, I don't know if... I never really talked about that. Drew from Athletic Mike League back in the day. He probably doesn't even know who I am, but I knew a lot of the members from this group. One of my favorite groups of all time. Love Michigan, love Ann Arbor, but today you're going to have to take that ass whooping. Planted the flag last year, and you're going to have to go back humble. It's not your fault. Ohio State's like a football, like an NFL program. They got niggas that should be in the league now. They're only 2 years in, so their coaching staff is like an NFL staff. So you're outmatched. You did the best you could. Hold your heads up. Hold them up high. But I did, if you do subscribe to the channel, and if you do subscribe, well, nobody subscribes to me to Twitter, but I'm putting it up on Twitter anyway. As a subscriber thing, ChatGPT has now a new feature, which is we've been waiting for quite some time. It's here, though. No complaints. And I did cancel my ChatGPT subscription, then I actually re-upped it because they're doing stuff where the features are kind of outweighing the annoying part, and then they're backing off the annoying a little bit, like the censorship stuff. They're going back and forth with that, man. They're switching that stuff up all the time. But if you are a subscriber, I post a link just for subscribers where you can get the data that I have. The best AI out there, and people can say whatever they want. There's different use cases, and you can create a use case where Grok is the best or Claude is the best, whoever. But as far as kind of digging and combing through the internet to do research for you, there is none that can still hang with ChatGPT that I've seen. For my use case of like this show, for example, it's not even close. So it's deep research ChatGPT, not even the thinking one. So what I've done is I got the deep research and I can turn them into PDFs. So if you want to, you can be, this is a live group chat here. It's just going to be open. So there's no private anything. It's just about Piers Morgan. Don't put anything private in there. It's a group chat. I'm in there. You can be in there too. I'm in there under Learn Edits. That's one of my Google accounts. So all the information I have is in there if you're interested in downloading the PDF or whatever, because it costs money to get a lot. I do a lot of deep research. It costs a lot of money. We're sucking up a lot of researches. So for me to do my goofy AI videos, it's sucking up a lot of power. You're going to have to be more efficient. You're going to have to be more friendly to the environment. So I can do another AI video about Randy Fine or whoever else is next. I actually am working on a Randy Fine one. So I think you all should sacrifice so I could get my fat pig gluttonous. I'm like, how many? I'm doing the lyrics and stuff to it. I'm like, calling him a fat pig is too much on the nose. Let's kind of make a play like on his weight and stuff like that. So I'll play a little bit. I'm trying to go through it. I'm like, wait a second. That's too much on the nose. So we're going through that with AI. I'm doing all this SUNO. You all, which really means me as well, but it's not as funny if I include myself. You all are going to have to sacrifice so I have the power to do AI slop. Here's my Randy Fine renditions before we get into the show.
Randy Fine lumbered forth, gorged on foreign feast, starving his own.
Randy Fine. So I'm like, wait a second. Let's do lumbered. Let's do waddled. Let's kind of mix it up a little bit. Randy Fine waddled on. Stuff like that.
Dim corridors of deceit. Randy Fine lumbered forth, gorged on foreign feasts, starving his own. Christ is king, peace our blade, truth cuts through the charade. Osiris from Index Red, peeling back the web of dread. Randy Fine bloated shadow in the capital's haze. Israel on his pedestal, America in a daze. Packs his bags for Tel Aviv if Harris claims the seat. Belling on the homeland like a rat in retreat. Scribbles regards from Randy on shells that scream and fly. Who does he salute when innocents die? Starve away his venom spits on Gaza's desperate cry. Laughing at the famine under siege's sky. Vito's Florida's dreams with a spiteful heavy hand. Special Olympics crushed in his ego's sand. Who does Randy represent? Our soil a distant crown. America forsaken, loyalty turned upside down. Truth slithers dark in this biting tone. Unmask the veil, chill to the bone. Spectral light, harmonies bite. Sever foreign chains in the endless. Randy Fine weighted down by 8 pegs, gold and chain. Elbit's war chest, swelling his campaign. Bans Palestinian flags in a census cruel game. Calls truth seekers terrorists to hide his shame. Sanctions allies like Spain with a bully's twisted grin. For daring to acknowledge where justice might begin. Slanders green and Massey's haters in the fold.
I wanted to see, I don't see any flashing on my end. It's always, I never see it on my end. But let me know if you still see flashing and stuff like that. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. But the first thing, so the topic is Nick Fuentes and Piers Morgan have tentatively agreed on a match. This is not going to be, we don't think it will be. It's highly unlikely that this would be the same type of thing as we might have seen with Tucker and Nick Fuentes. So first, I don't really like talking about people as like the focus. I mean, sometimes we'll joke around and stuff like that. But like Randy Fine did the song on Randy Fine. It's more about what he represents all of that. Like everything that's wrong with the Zionists, everything from the gluttony to everything. So he's the perfect one to kind of do a song on to represent the larger picture. But that's kind of the same thing with the Nick Fuentes verse Piers Morgan. Nick Fuentes now is that person that I kind of looked at Trump as. Remember, Trump used to always say, and I used to believe it, I don't anymore, obviously, that they're not trying to get to me, they're trying to get to you. I'm just in the way. Now, Trump's not in the way of anything at this point. He's trying to get to you. The only person that I would even think about, and maybe there's more, the only person that I'm aware of that big that has taken over that type of shielding, basically, is Nick Fuentes. And that's why I say very often, pray. I did see a flashing. I'm like, what is going on? Am I on the right internet? Oh no, I'm on the right. I thought I was on my phone Bluetooth. I was like, that's probably why it's flashing. No, I'm on my home network. That's what we're getting at, Club Penguin. That's what we're getting at. This isn't Tucker. So Tucker wanted to play dirty too. Tucker wanted to play dirty. Tucker wanted to. He teamed up with Candace Owens in an indirect way or in some type of way that's clearly, I am not even saying allegedly. I am not saying allegedly. Candace Owens did the interview with Nick. That was a hit job. They were trying to do whatever. I don't even understand what they thought was going to happen from it. It didn't go as planned. She didn't plan on in my opinion, putting it behind the paywall. She did because she didn't look good. I don't know what they were thinking. Charlie was alive at that time. So it was more like trying to get into the TPUSA again. Because you had Charlie and Candace were cool. And they were cool the whole time. But Charlie created a monster that was TPUSA. And that's got to be tough. Imagine if I were hypothetically able to create a monster out of a channel or something like that. And they get so big, that's not going to happen. Just hypothetically, just trying to put myself in Charlie's shoes. It's so big. Same with like James O'Keefe in Project Veritas. It gets so big. Tim Pool and his show. I give Tim very little grace because he put together. That's why Tim even talked about that. I just got behind a mic and I was just doing my thing. And all of a sudden it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I grew into it. I can't fault Tim for that. And then now he's got mouths to feed. Charlie Kirk got to God bless his soul, rest in peace. Charlie Kirk got so big that TPUSA had become a monster. So it was separate from the relationship with Candace Owens, even though it was his thing. It was his blood, sweat, and tears. So Candace Owens was cool with Charlie, but she wanted to get back in with TPUSA. I know that sounds weird, and I didn't really realize that until after Charlie passed. So she tried to set up Nick and be like, well, look, I'm one of the good guys. I'm different than Nick. I know Nick's people were kind of bigging me up. Nick was on Twitter. Everybody knew he was Candace Owens. The big bad racist had Candace Owens as his avatar or whatever profile pic for a while. Even that he was Candace Owens in the debate with Jeremy Boring, or the discussion, the great discussion. So then she goes to Tucker, and that's why, and Tucker's trying to Tucker's bigger than Candace as far as the politics go. As podcasting, I don't even know. They're both big, but as far as like real on the ground politics, Tucker is bigger than Candace as far as like who would have a better chance to be president. Now, it may not be a mile ahead or whatever, but he's more ahead. So he brings Candace on, and they're trying to reach as many of the young, and I hate saying that because Nick's audience is women, older women, younger, black guys who are almost 50 that go by Osiris with the channel name Index Red. It's not just young white men. But I think that's what Tucker is trying to tap into, because you can't, there is no future in this political game if you don't have that group. When that group gets older, they're not going to be J.D. Vancers. So Tucker has Candace Owens, and it's weird. Why did he go with the little gay kid in his basement? Tucker's just trying to be cool. It'd be like me trying to say 6'7", 6'7". You're like, it's cringe, but that's what Tucker was trying to do, was trying to reach some of the people who might listen to Nick and not be fully with Nick. And like, well, he's just there's some gay kid in his basement with Tucker, and he has the most gay laugh possible. It's just so ironic. That's why he did it in a weird manner like that. Then after that happened, Nick had the legendary, some of the best radio podcast streams we have ever heard in this country, that I have ever heard. I've heard a lot of the great streams, without question. Some of the best streams we have ever heard in this country, when he just annihilated Tucker Carlson in 2 separate streams. Amazing work. Tucker knows he got. He's a smart guy. He invites Nick. So we're waiting for, when is Tucker going to react? Then after that, Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, kind of throws things in the loop, helps Tucker a little bit. Not that he was asking for that, obviously, but it delayed things because Nick had made accusations. And I said, Dave Smith, where's the comment? Clint, where is your comment? And I didn't like this. Luke Rakowski, these are guys I like. There's not a diss to them. I said, Nick made some legitimate, tangible, and I know you guys see what I see. I know you guys see that there's something here to this. So where are you guys at with this? Where are you guys at with the substance of the retort from Nick Fuentes? None of them have anything for me. Even Clint. I'm like, what is going on, guys? It's all this meaning mouth. I don't know. That's Tucker. He's my friend. And Ian Carroll. What the hell is going on? These are guys who will break down snot coming out of Zelensky's nose, but we can't break down the myriad of evidence claims that Nick Fuentes brings to the table, along with help from many other people, Groypers and others, to the table to say Tucker Carlson is a Fed. You guys can't talk anything on the substance of that. What they were doing was waiting to hear what Tucker was going to say. They all knew the substance was there. They knew Tucker got. They couldn't deny that. Nobody with any credibility denied that. They just didn't want to comment on it. They wanted access. They were like, "Hey, I'm out of this. I'm not in this." Weird, because you're in every other conversation other than this one. So Tucker has never addressed it. Never did. So how does he get past it? He has Nick on. And that's why I'm going to get to the difference between the Piers Morgan and the Tucker version. Stay with me. People ask, well, Tucker has Nick on. Why didn't Tucker go at Nick? Well, because Tucker didn't want those problems. He brought Nick on to try and still separate himself from Nick. You know, after the interview, you can still see him going like, well, Nick's maybe, I don't know if I'm quoting him, but he's going down that route of Nick's an anti-Semite, Nick's too far, all that. He said that to Nick's face. I watched the whole video, streamed it live here, and then I was waiting. I was like, Nick, come on, you got to call him out. Like, what are you talking about? Nick called him out in face to face. What are you talking about when you say I'm not Christian because I'm passing down like blood oath or whatever? I don't know where he's getting that stuff from. So Nick's like, what are you talking about, basically? And Tucker doesn't answer the question. Then Nick's like, wait, what? And then Tucker admits, well, I don't know. You tell me what you tell me what your position is. Tucker didn't have anything substantive. That was proof right there. Evidence right there. For me, proof that Tucker was just trying to set Nick up. He doesn't. So why would you call Nick anti-Semitic if you don't know his positions? Nick asks you, what positions do I have that are out of the pale, that are not Christian, that are anti-Semitic? Tucker literally in the interview says, I don't know. So what are you talking about? So Nick could have pounced on him there, but he didn't, and said, let's keep it cordial. So that's why Tucker didn't go at Nick, because if Tucker would at Nick would have opened up the floodgates. Great, let's talk about it. You want to sit down and talk about it? We're going to talk about it all. and Tucker probably wouldn't have been able to release the interview because it wasn't live, or he would have had to taken that L. It's not as easy. That's why Nick Fuentes wouldn't go on an interview with, even though I'm friendly, he doesn't know me. He's not going to go on a interview with somebody who he doesn't know or doesn't have as much to lose as he does, because they can do oppo research, for lack of a better term, on him. And it doesn't matter what oppo research he would have on me or you or whatever. We're nobodies. So he can't go on interviews with just nobodies, because he can't trust it that somebody's going to try to bring up something and pigeonhole them or whatever else, when he doesn't. Even if he did it to them, it wouldn't matter. You can't be in that interview with somebody who doesn't have as much to lose as you. That's why Tucker couldn't go at Nick. That's why Tucker said, if you want to have Nick on, have him on. That's why Tucker said that. So Steven Crowder has extended, I think, an invitation. I don't think Steven Crowder is going to do anything. He's not going to do anything like wild, like a setup. He is going to try to, actually attack Nick because he's in that Zionist lane. But I just don't think it's worth it. So Nick has to weigh these options too. Is it worth it to go on with this person? Is it worth it to go on? What's the benefit for Nick Fuentes to go on with Steven Crowder right now? I don't see it. I trust Nick or whoever, the landscape better than I do. I don't see the benefit. I just don't see it. But Piers Morgan is a different breed. Piers Morgan has made a career now out of going after Nick. Piers Morgan has criticized people who have had Nick on and they haven't gone after Nick. So now Piers has to go after Nick. He has no choice. So that's why Nick is probably right now preparing to have that discussion, to have stuff in his back pocket to, hey, do we need to go down this route? We can. I mean, not that Nick can't answer any question. It's just more of, it's not going to be a one-sided thing. And that's how we get to here. Oh, we got people representing Europe for Europeans. Absolutely. I have no problem with that. Yes, looked on it. There's no indication, so there's not a date, but it is a big deal because, and I retweeted it. That's why I retweeted it, because Nick said, let's set it up, said it publicly. Nick didn't have to say it publicly, but Piers said it publicly to Nick. So this is what happened here. Piers had a little video clip that I didn't watch the whole show. Piers had a clip. Let me play. Is this PBD? What does PBD say? Oh no, PBD commented on the Carson thing. That just happened. Is he working on the weekend? I thought that happened on the weekend. Piers Morgan versus 20 woke liberals. That's new. I didn't know about that. Okay. I'll come back to that. So this is the first one I saw. This was from a while back. This is from, November 11th.
My criticism was not that he platformed. In Tucker,
let me see sometimes if I don't do the share right, the audio doesn't come through. So let me reset.
because he's right. He can. My criticism was not that he platformed. And Tucker he's right. He can platform anybody he likes. It's one of the biggest platforms in the world. My only criticism was, why didn't you give him as hard a time as he gave me?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair I'm doing that. But so you would house Nick Fuentes?
Well, I think in light of all the controversy about him, it'd be quite interesting to get him on my show and actually do an uncensored number on him, where I go after him about a lot of the stuff he said on the record. I think now it's
you would lose your Jewish donors if you do that. So I just want to prepare you.
I don't care about things like that.
You're going to lose that kind of stuff.
I never care about any financial impact to anything I do. I think you've got to be intellectually honest in this game.
You're going to lose your Jewish donors. What the? That's news breaking. They all have Jewish donors, and Pierce didn't say. Like, it would be if somebody said you can't have Nick on, you're going to lose your Jewish donors. I'd be like, what Jewish donors are you talking about? I don't have any Jewish donors. But no, not here. So PBD says you have Nick on because PBD had Nick on. So the implication here is, I didn't watch this whole pod. The implication from this clip that I'm taking from it, I leave room to be wrong, is that PBD lost Jewish donors because he had Nick on.
Time as he gave me.
I think that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing now. But so you would house Nick Fuentes?
Well, I think in light of all the controversy about him, it'd be quite interesting to get him on my show and actually do an uncensored number on him where I go after him about a lot of the stuff he said on the record. I think now it's...
I love this. What is this world where this man is in a position to be so pompous? He sounds like some that's how they sound over there across the pond. He just sounds like, oh, so I'll have to break him down. Like I have to go after him. Bitch, who are you? How does this person, and he is in that position. I mean, I have to respect that. But isn't that odd that we have a world where this person has any type of power in the media?
You do an uncensored number on
I have
him.
to do an uncensored number on him. What? Who are you? Why should we care? I have zero care what this bruh has to think other than he has a big platform. That's it. He has a big platform. His show, he did a great idea with the show to have the 4 panels on to do the yelling argument. Nick should not be a part of that. And I don't have to tell Nick that. Nick is much more savvy than I am. There is 0% chance that Nick should be on that babbling panel of idiots. I go on that babbling panel of idiots. Nick, that is beneath. Nick is at a different level. Nick is not. Donald Trump wouldn't be on the panel of babbling idiots. I don't think Tucker's done that. Dave Smith has, but he's kind of more in that blood sport or whatever. He's not, just to be honest, he's not on Nick's level. Nick is on a different plane. He should be looking at the panel, laughing at them while they're talking. Jake Shields should be on the panel of babbling idiots. That's not a diss. He should be on there. I mean, really, you should have Voice of Steven on the panel. That's where I really would like. I mean, I don't know where he's at on that stuff. I think he'd be great at that blood sport stuff. Might be wrong. Jeremy should be on that panel. Nick Fuentes is on a different plane, he's on a different stratosphere. He shouldn't be involved with these babbling idiots. It's one-on-one, him and Piers, just like Alex Jones. That's what it should be. And that's what I hope that's what we're going to set up. It shouldn't even be on that normal set. Piers should make a different set. It should be, I don't know where that set was where he did the Alex Jones. They should do a throwback. Go back to that same set where they're on the chairs when they were talking about 2A and do the same type of thing like that. That's where I'd be like, Nick, that's what I'd be like if I was Nick. If you want me to have me on, do that set. I'm not doing it in your standard set. This ain't a standard interview. And don't even think about asking me to be on that panel of court jesters yelling at each other. Get Anna Kasparian, get Cenk Uygur, get those on there. Not me.
I think in light of all the controversy about him, it'd be quite interesting to get him on my show and actually do an uncensored number on him.
How does this person able to talk like this?
Do an uncensored number on him where I go after him about a lot of the stuff he said on the record. I think now it's...
You would lose your Jewish donors if you do that. So I just want to prepare you for it.
I don't care about things
So
like
you're
that.
going to lose that kind of stuff.
I never care about any financial impact to anything I do. I think you've got to be intellectually honest in this game. My criticism was not that he
You're going to lose your Jewish donors. So we can't say that the Jews run everything, but if you have the wrong person on, the Jews are going to run your show. They're going to say that money's gone. Just openly. It's just like Pierce in his head's probably like, bro, why did you even say that out here? That's supposed to be behind the scenes. See, PBD was still sore because he had Nick on, and PBD was like, I tried to go at Nick very carefully. And I guess he lost his Jewish donors. Zip. Jewish donors go bye-bye. This is it here, I think. Let's see. Let me at least see if this is the clip.
It's been difficult to avoid the subject of Nick Fuentes lately.
Yeah.
We've quite rightly debated his growing influence and the resulting schisms in the MAGA world. It's now been brought to my attention. This has annoyed. Difficult to avoid.
It ain't the MAGA world. This is post-MAGA, bruh. You gotta sit down, Pierce. There's a lot I gotta catch you up on. Sit down for a second. Let me prep you before you do the interview.
It's been difficult to avoid the subject of Nick Fuentes lately. We've quite rightly debated his growing influence and the resulting schisms in the MAGA world. It's now been brought to my attention. This has annoyed Nick Fuentes.
Piers Morgan. How many shows is he going to do about me, but not have me on the show?
Okay, fair enough. Maybe it is time we had a chat. So give me a call or a direct message if that's your thing, and we'll do the interview, Nick Fuentes. And let's see how you get on. It's been difficult to avoid the subject of Nick Fuentes.
He can't do anything without that dripping arrogance. And part of me, I don't know, part of me wishes that I had some of that, to be honest with you. Part of me actually wishes I had some of that dripping arrogance that Piers Morgan has. I'm going to get on with it. Let me do a clip here. Believe it or not, I'm actually working, allegedly. Let's play a different Randy Fine version as a little break here for while I work. Check my messages. I'll be right back.
So many keeping in the day, the lights are in the bed, and we stay the bed. I feel like my flow like belongs from that. Don't feel off our mind and life from the grave, but it's still off our mind away from mine. I'ma set a fat back of our keys and the flags of the people. Yeah. Thought for 14. Yeah. This discourse out, Randy Fine. Florida rep gone wrong. Israel first in his mind. America left behind. Cancel Lord's constant strong. Anti-boycott law in play. Protecting foreign soil long. While free speech fades away. Threatens trade with Europe nations for Palestine recognition. Calls them hate-filled stations. Hurting our own position.
Okay, I'm back. That beat is crazy, though. I know I'm digressing. I'm always all over the place. I'm sorry. This beat is... I love this beat. I need to get the intro. I'm going to get the intro for this.
Yeah. Show me what I mind.
Man, they chopped that up. That's AI, yo. Rest in peace. There's a lot of things. Not only birth rates, as the AI gets better and we put the fake skin on the robot, and guys will have no need for women. It's just the end of the world. You know, just the end of the end. That's the end. There's also the end for musicians in a way. I'm sorry. Yeah, when you can customize the song to be what you want, yeesh. Learn the code. I don't know, but back to it. What time is this happening? Okay, sorry. We do not have a time for the debate yet for the Nick Fuentes stuff. So this is what we have. All we have is the agreement. And they usually kind of keep that kind of under wraps a little bit to keep the excitement going until right before. Sometimes they just drop it. It's unusual that we even know this far ahead. I'm just going to go through. Oh, Nick did it as a reply. So it's under mine as a retweet. I just want to show you where we got the confirmation. So you saw Piers Morgan threw it out to Nick. And then Nick replied underneath him, let's set it up. Looking forward to it. That's a wrap. So I mean, unless Piers tries to do something I was gonna say backing out. Piers Morgan says an invitation. He ats Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes replies, "Let's set it up. Looking forward to it. We don't know the date. I need Nick. I can't get in the room." This is another side note. If somebody holler at Nick, I've been trying to get them. I don't know what happened. There's a private, if you don't know, Nick has a chat with people who want to chat with them in the room on Telegram. And I was in there. I don't know what happened. I got booted out the room. Not that I said anything wrong. I just got out the room. I don't think I did anything wrong. I barely applied in there. But I'm not in the room. So anybody else I can't get back in the room. But the reason why I'm saying that is he might drop stuff like that in that separate chat. Syed, friend of the show, long time no talk. Great friend of the show. Actually been emailing me in a little bit. Appreciate that. I do have a group chat here too for this Oppo. If anybody has interest in it, if you want to kind of see what's in there, you should be able to access the documents and stuff. Great to see you. Club Penguin says, we already waiting for the AI girlfriends. Club Penguin's like, I can't wait for my AI girlfriend. It'll be so over for women, bro. Ah, man, it's bad. I know it's bad, but it's true, man. It's just true. We talked about it with Veronica, which was the rubber doll, and she couldn't even move. Put robotics in her. It's over. It's done. The bitch will cook. She will do dishes. She won't talk back. I mean, just tell me we're wrong, guys. It's over. It's done. Guys are already saving up. Club Penguin it's probably 5 to 10 years away. He's already got a little stash set up. I guess that's how society ends. But let's look at a little bit more on Piers Morgan and where that bruh's from. Basically, not where he's from literally, but where he's coming from. What's his angle? What's the angle for this bruh? Piers Morgan. He's been around for quite a bit. You got to respect the longevity for this guy. He's been around for quite some time. Because when you go back looking at, Piers Morgan, he goes back to the 90s. I mean, even before that. I didn't know about him till probably the Alex Jones. That was it. Was that in the 90s? That was a long time ago, the Alex Jones interview. That's probably the first time I'd even probably heard of him. But he's kind of been around for a little bit, doing his news thing. And he's always been just a known kind of celebrity. So let's go back to 2022 first. This is recently, Piers Morgan had a lot of problems with the Ye stuff. Piers Morgan was very, very adamant because he had gone pro-Trump, surprisingly. He's a leftist, and it makes sense. Trump is just a Bill Clinton. So Piers Morgan had basically gone on the Trump train at that time. And he said the GOP, this was in 2022, the GOP must ditch anti-Semite embracers or Trump will lose in 2024. And he condemned Nick Fuentes at that time. He said that Trump's excuse for not knowing who Nick Fuentes was didn't hold water. And actually, I do agree with that. I believe Trump a little bit in that they didn't fully know who he was, but his people have to obviously tell him who. If I'm the president, I'm having dinner with Ye, and it's not just me and Ye, it better not be Ye and some random Negroes that come sit down with him unless my people tell me who they are and that they're coming ahead of time. So I don't know what Trump had set up, but Piers Morgan had a point there from that fundamental standpoint. But Piers is really concerned about he wasn't concerned about anybody else other than the anti-Semite type label for somebody who was kind of well known. Nick was well known at the time, even though he's much more well known now. He said the agents will have quickly worked out exactly who Fuentes is and his background and briefed Trump. That's basically what I said. So he was scathing at that time, going over the whole thing, the Holocaust denier, the white nationalist, as if a Holocaust denier is a bad thing. What is that? What you can deny damn near anything. You can deny the JFK assassination story. You can deny damn near anything. But for whatever reason, and he's not a Holocaust denier. What does that even mean? Basically, he's questioning the narrative. And then the bigger picture is questioning, why is this thing so important for America and for us? That's the bigger thing. So, and then they turn that into Holocaust denial to make it sound different, because it wouldn't hit the same if you said, well, it's a guy who's questioning why the Holocaust is something that is held up as basically a religion to be revered by Americans? That's a question that anybody will say, well, yeah, that's a good question. But if you say Holocaust denial, then now you can slide them into like an evil route. White nationalists, as if there's something wrong with that. MAGA thinks there's something wrong with it as long as it's associated with Nick Fuentes, believe it or not. That's pretty crazy. So he was going through all that whole thing, Trump's careless, all that. So after the Mar-a-Lago stuff, he continued to go at Nick. That's where I think, at least from what I searched, is when the whole Piers Morgan, Nick Fuentes thing kind of started. And I don't even know if Nick replied to that, but from Pierce's standpoint, he kind of compared Ye's praise of Hitler during the Infowars. That happened in December of, believe it or not, it was December of 2022. It feels like it was just like a year or two ago. We're like 3 years now. Almost the 3-year anniversary. Infowars appearance with Fuentes and talked about Ye and Fuentes during that time. He called Ye a Hitler-loving, Nazi-slathering prick. He's doing his Zionist virtue signaling. So that's what we're going to expect from him. That's not going to be good enough that's going to tee Nick up for easy replies. I think Nick replied yes quickly because this is going to be and Nick is very cautious in what he says and how he says it in those discussions. But we're going to continue on the timeline a little bit. I'll look at some of the comments as well in a little bit here, as I find some background music for you to enjoy. Let's do some East Coast. Oh, let's do the indie rock. See how this one goes. And we're back. So then after that, we have Piers Morgan addressing, and keep in mind, back in 2022, mentioning Nick Fuentes by name was Piers didn't do it a lot, but it was a big deal. Nobody wanted to mention him. And you heard it in Pierce's announcement. He was saying, well, I can't ignore Nick anymore. I can't go around it and say, oh, Trump is having dinner with anti-Semites and say and hint at Nick. It was basically pushed by Daily Wire, kind of led the way on you're never really supposed to say Nick's name. You're not supposed to reply to Nick. That's why Brett Cooper, it wasn't good for her when she replied to Nick that one time right before they had a separation. But now we're seeing the exchange. Nick is so big. Now he's going to have him on the show. And he tried to make a big deal out of it. I wonder if he was questioning if he was going to have him, if Nick was going to say yes. Just the other day, November 26th, Piers Morgan had a panel on. It was the panel with Jake Shields in them. And it came with mixed reviews, I'll say. I did not watch the whole pod. I'm not going to give my opinion until I watch the whole pod. I will watch the whole pod. That's a highly kind of basically anticipated podcast there with the Shmuels on there. Nick Fuentes said, Rabbi Shmuel, Nick's like, I just can't watch the dude. The dude's literally so he's so literally ugly. I can't watch the dude. It's so funny because it's true, man. It's hard to watch that dude without being like, damn, this dude is a different type of creature, man. Dude is not normal.
Nick Fuentes is not MAGA. He's MAGIT. He trades in being a subhuman, mentally and conspiracy-minded, Neanderthal knuckle-dragger. He is utterly ignorant. He knows no history. And his MAGA is Make America German. Amen.
This nigga looks like a troll that just crawled out from under a bridge. And he's going to call somebody else subhuman.
He is just using a Hitlerian playbook. He says that Hitler is his hero.
This nigga is the caricature of a Jew. I mean, in a bad way. It would be like me eating fried chicken and watermelon up here and speaking Ebonics or whatever. It would be the same thing. He's worse than that. I don't even know how I could do that as a black. I don't even know if I can make my voice sound like a black enough to do the caricature of what he is. And he's not doing a bit. This is who he is.
There's a lot of similarities, of course. You become famous by targeting Jews. He's not anti-Israel. He's an anti-Semite. He's a Holocaust denier. Hitler traded an anti-Semitism beginning in 1921-22 because it was the way to become the most famous. History has shown if you hate the Jews, Jews are news. So when you ask how did he become so famous, it is specifically his anti-Semitism. The question is he transactionally anti-Semitic or is he ideologically anti-Semitic? I think it's both. But the way he speaks about blacks, that blacks should all be returned to slavery, and that if you go to a black neighborhood, you're going to be stabbed to the neck, that they're all murderers. We've seen this, of course, with Hitler, who wouldn't even shake Jesse Owens' hands when Jesse...
I don't know. If you want to go through a black neighborhood, go be my guest. Go through at night. Go through the east side of Detroit at night. Be my guest.
Owens dominated the 1936 Olympics, winning 4 gold medals. But Fuentes is playing with fire because in the same way the Nazi movement cultivated hatred they could no longer contain, you have Tucker Carlson saying openly that Nick Fuentes is gay, which I couldn't care less. I have a gay brother. But Ernst Röhm, who was the head of the SA, was killed by Hitler in large part because he was gay. And at some point, Fuentes' followers are going to turn on him because just like Hitler didn't look Aryan in the slightest, neither does Fuentes. He's not this white Norwegian Aryan Ubermensch Superman. He's actually a short, weird guy, kind of like the way Hitler was. He has all these weird tics. He's famous because hatred sells, and hatred towards the Jews sells. And
this nigga is so ugly. Just watching his video will turn you into stone like a male Medusa. And he's trying to say that this Nick Fuentes is short or whatever.
When you come along and you stoke those fires of incendiary racism against blacks, against Jews, it's going to turn on you. And I think Fuentes...
Notice how the Jews always try to bring the blacks into it. What does that have to do with you, bro? I don't even know what that has to do with you. They always try to bring because the blacks are the pawns. You don't want to play chess without the pawns in your front line. You'll get absolutely destroyed. So he's like, I need my pawn here. Black, come here. He doesn't like black. He doesn't like you, black. Come here. That's exactly what he's doing. The Jews, a lot of them, like at his level, that are his ideology, the Zionist ones, they all do that. Even some of the non-Zionist ones do that.
Is really at risk from his own people. I'm never going to touch him. I wish him a long life and increasing.
He's at risk. Rabbi Shmuley doesn't care what happens to Nick Fuentes, so he's trying to wish it into fruition. As much as you wish it, Rabbi, that's not going to happen.
Marginalization and invisibility. But I think that his own MAGIT movement is going to turn on him.
All right, Richie Black, I can see you pulling some faces there, so you can respond.
Yeah, well, I lost count, honestly. I mean, I lost count of how many lies I was just admitted. Where do we begin? Obviously, Rabbi Shmuley is part of the tone deaf majority who are more than likely the cause of the rise of Nick Fuentes.
Here's where I would go. I would say Rabbi Shmuley is in his own political party. He's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. He's a Zionist Jew. And that political party doesn't look at anything outside of how do I protect Israel and destroy anyone who criticizes Israel. So the way that he talks about Nick Fuentes is the way he will talk about anyone, including the blacks he pretends to care about for some reason. He's pretending to care about Nick Fuentes. This is a guy who would listen to this guy? He's not even at the level of a used car salesman.
You start off the conversation with lobbying insults first and foremost, and mentioning something about his height and his looks. You're completely neglecting the fact that at this point, and in my generation in particular, we see this as an emergency. We don't care about what he looks like. Mentioning that Hitler killed Strom because he was homosexual, which is not true. That's obviously a very complicated.
Good job here.
Thing, or the Jesse Owens statement, which again, I believe Jesse Owens made a statement that Hitler actually called him to congratulate him, and the president of the U.S. at the time did not. So food for thought there.
I got to go down the Hitler rabbit hole. Voice of Stevens, he's like, you got to go down the hole, because I don't even know. There's a lot to kind of look into that isn't taught, let's just say. I've done it a very little bit because I've been looking at the speeches, and I'm like, are the speeches real? I'm like, break this down for me. I'm like, whoa. Dude, we're talking about Palestine and stuff. I'm like, what the hell?
But this is a cheap tactic, and it's one that's been overly used over and over. And I really want to warn people like Rabbi Shmuley and anybody who uses this tactic, because ultimately what you're doing, what you're forcing people to do, is to de-radicalize this movement, de-radicalize these words. When you lobby these words, anti-Semitism, and you say, well, you're not allowed at the table unless you're if you're an anti-Semite. Well, you're putting it on us to first de-radicalize what it means to be an anti-Semite so we get a spot at the table. Nick Fuentes is correcting an imbalance in the conservative movement that's been going on for 20 plus years. He's pointing out the obvious flaws that we need to pay attention, to pull away from foreign influence and control to become a sovereign nation once again. He's never said anything about putting blacks back in chains. And, if you're going to go off of clip editing and then sensationalism, obviously he's very sensational right now, you're being intellectually dishonest. You're being...
Well, let's play a clip. Let me play a clip of Fuentes, and we can discuss this after we've watched it.
He did a great job. That is not easy to do. Much respect. That's Richie Black. Just a great job there.
What are all of these groups? Who are these people? What are they actually? The World Jewish Congress, the Jewish Leadership Conference, the Jewish Federations of North America. What are we to make of this? This is totally unique. There is no other group of people that does this. I'm Italian, Mexican, and Irish. Is there anything comparable for any of these groups? Is there a World Irish Congress chaired by billionaires and bankers?
No, I mean, that strikes me as pretty openly anti-Semitic, because of course...
What? You don't think it's weird that they've got like 20 different groups? How many groups do they need? From AIPAC to the World Jewish Congress to the American Jewish Committee to the ADL to the Batar people to the World Zionist Congress to the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations to the Jewish National Fund to the Jewish Leadership Conference to the Jewish Federations of North America to this to that. It's like literally 100 of them, all with the focus not America, Israel and Jews. Is it okay to say? Piers plays that clip as if it were our own. He's going to have struggle with Nick.
There are plenty of groups around the world for all sorts of nationalities and religious and ethnic groups. Of course there are. We all know that. So the idea that somehow this is unique to Jewish people is preposterous. The guy is clearly anti-Semitic, isn't he? I mean, there's no even pretends to not be.
No, he's not. He's not. I'm gonna jump in again. I'm sorry, he's not. You're taking a clip out of context. Here's the thing.
What was the out of context?
Well, first and foremost, I'm saying you have to really listen.
Hang on, don't, Rabbi Shmuley, let me just handle this.
Rabbi Shmuley, you're
hang
the
on,
worst representative for
Richie
your
Black,
side.
I'm very curious.
They did a real disservice.
Hang on. When you say,
like that
Richie Black, when you say we took it out of context.
Let me do super chat. Just saw this. Cyan, afternoon. Great Zelensky drop, by the way. Tipping now in case YouTube has issues with your live later. No, what happened here, Cyan, thank you, Cyan, $5 super chat, is I was using copyrighted music, which is, I didn't really care about the live being monetized. So I think the ones you couldn't do the super chat on were all copyrighted music, which was Rumble doesn't do that. I don't know. I don't think YouTube really needs to do that, but I can understand that. But here's the good thing, Cyan. Those days are over. I don't need you anymore. It's not the artist, it's the label, but whatever labels, I don't need you anymore. I'm just going to steal your music indirectly through AI. So you might as well just let me use it. If you let me use your music, I might spend more time with you guys. But right now, you're going to get Zelensky AI booger nose cocaine drops. Might do 5 videos of those until I get tired of it. Thank you, Cyan.
Explain.
You're going to come up in the song too, Cyan. I hope you don't get mad. I hope we stay cool. A lot of people on the channel, we kind of fell out for whatever reason. I didn't want to. I don't have beef. There's nobody that was ever with the channel that I have beef with. You know, we just, different ways. I'm different than I was when I started. I hope we don't fall out, Cyan, when you hear your name dropped in the song.
How that was taken. It seemed pretty
It's taken out of
straightforward
context
context to me.
I'll tell you why. Because first of all, you're taking it out of context because you have to take in the full scope of everything Nick says, not only in one of his shows, but over the course of time. His fans, the people that are loyal to him, the people that are pushing for America first, these aren't people that just showed up yesterday. And this is where you really lose out. Your negligence to acknowledge the fact that his fans, his constituents have been following him for 10 years. This
What's that got to do with his
nuance.
anti-Semitism?
Hitler had followers. Mussolini had followers. Stalin had
I'm
followers.
just curious. I will, Jake, I will bring you in, and Ben, I will bring you in. But just
okay, let's stop there. Jake didn't do the best. I saw some of this already. Jake, I mean, nothing against Jake. It's not easy, but that's why Nick is very careful when he's on these things. Let's end with just breaking down some of the stuff that's gone through Pierce's career. I'm just throwing it out there. Not that it's important or not, but when you go to these discussions, I guarantee you, Nick already knows a lot of this stuff, if not all of it, because you got to have stuff ready. But and let's go back to the 90s. As editor of the Daily Mirror, Piers Morgan, let me share. This is in our Oppo research group chat, by the way. Piers Morgan set up a stock tipping column called City Slickers, allegedly. In January 2000, he secretly bought 67,000 euros worth of shares in a tech company one day before his paper tipped them as a buy. Oh. The 2 reporters who wrote the column were later convicted of market abuse, but Morgan escaped legal penalty. He was censored by the press regulator for his conflict of interest. That's interesting. What happened there, Piers? I just tell me what happened. Is it wrong? What happened there? Former Mirror journalist James Hipwell remarked that he creates these storms and the people in his wake are left to pick up the pieces. And that's basically anyone, I started out by saying, how does he have this platform? That's how. You allegedly kind of prop up your own money. Oh, I'm going to prop up this company as a buy in my paper. Let me get the stock the day before. Who cares long term what happens to the stock? I get it, and then potentially sell it. Morgan had accusations that under his editorship, the Daily Mirror used illegal phone hacking to get stories. I don't know. That's journalism type stuff. I'm not too concerned on the surface of that one. Fake photos and firing in 2004. This is one of the more famous ones. Morgan was fired from the Daily Mirror after the paper published what turned out to be fake photos purporting to show British soldiers abusing Iraqi prisoners. I wonder why he would do that. The hoax photos caused a national scandal. Morgan initially insisted the pictures were genuine, but the truth emerged as the newspaper's board issued a public apology. Uh-oh. Other stumbles while he was editor, tabloid tenured, he was peppered with questionable judgment calls. Before a Euro 96 soccer match, he ran a jingoistic Mirror front page. I'm not that sensitive to that kind of stuff, but it's in there. Feud with Jeremy Clarkson. His long-running feud with Top Gear host Jeremy Clarkson, who has his own scandals I'm not a fan of. He had the scandal with Tesla. I believe that was him who did the Tesla Roadster scandal, if I'm not mistaken. Pierce's paper published paparazzi photos of Clarkson when a woman who wasn't his wife. Well, Piers Morgan has that problem too. We'll get to that. Was around. We know where that goes. Meghan Markle saga. Had a feud with Meghan Markle. He was offended that Meghan cut off contact after becoming royalty. Morgan, I remember that. I don't really care too much about that one, to be honest with you. This is the gun control showdown. Oh, was it 2013? Oh my goodness, I thought it was like 93 or something. Gun control showdown with Alex Jones. That was only 2013. It looked like it was 12 years ago. During his tenure as CNN host, Morgan invited Alex Jones on air for the great primetime. Ray and I broke that down a year or 2 years ago. Alex Jones did great in that interview. Interview turned into an explosive screaming match. It was very entertaining, very good interview. So that's not really Oppo research against Pierce or anything, but that's there. He had some fiery exchanges there during COVID-19. For instance, his grilling of the government, Helen Watley, about COVID deaths drew over 33,000 complaints. Again, I don't see how that's bad against him. He went about Madonna. Okay, who cares about that? It was interesting how he flipped on the. It's interesting he flipped on the Trump stuff though. Trump blasted him as dishonest, and then he all of a sudden became a big Trumpster out of nowhere. I guess he realized it was smart for the algorithm kind of to be Trumpster, but obviously not in the anti-Semitic lane. Basically, you have to be anti-Semitic is basically the lane you have to be in with the Trump stuff. But they're finding it harder to stay in that lane now, though, and that's part of the reason why he's having Nick on, because Pierce went after Pearl Davis, friend of the show, Pearl Davis. Wish her the best. She going through some tough times with her channel, but I think she's just a talent. She'll be fine. But he went after Pearl Davis when she had Nick on. Yeah, we remember that, Pierce. Pearl talked about that. I talked about it. He just changed his whole script all of a sudden because now it became more basically strategically made more strategic sense now to have Pierce on. But let's look at the clip here for Piers Morgan.
Pearl Davis is the self-styled anti-feminist influencer who's creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored after all. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash for posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews, which she dedicated to far-right commentators.
You remember when she played banjo or whatever? That was a crazy moment.
To Nick Fuentes before later deleting it. A major backlash.
Don't delete. I think if you want to apologize or whatever, you can do that if you want to, or clarify or clean up. To me, just do it as a reply. I'm leaving. I have some really I don't think I have anything that I'm ashamed of as far as like the content. I have stuff where I've been fooled, like a boomer fooled by some really bad AI and CGI type stuff. And I comment on it like it's real. Then afterwards, somebody tell you, bro, you got. Then I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm not taking, I'll literally say I'm not taking it down, but you got me. For this one, she had that banjo song about like, why can't we question the Jews? You remember that? It's still up there. I know people put it up there. I saw it the other day. It was that, I remember like she got a lot of views off of it too. I can't believe she took it down. See if I can find it real quick. I think I found it. So let's take another digression. Before we do that, it's a $5 super chat. Zion comes back and says, "We shall see, kid. Of course, I value your insight and wisdom. Just describe me as bluntly pessimistic." Okay, cool. Just tell me how you want to be portrayed. I'll get you in there like I do, like little. I don't want it to be overt. It's the song's not about you or even me, but I just put little stuff in there. So if you see it, you're like, "Oh yeah, I got it." It's inside stuff for the show. It's everyone.
Why can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. I'm not trying to be rude, but why can't we talk about
Meets Nick Fuentes 5 months later. Why is Hitler bad? She sings. Acoustic track. Why is Hitler bad? We love you, Pearl.
Oh man, that's like me. You watch like 5 minutes of Nick Fuentes. Just 5 minutes of a Nick Fuentes show. Next day later.
Can't we talk about
So that's why they don't want you to watch Nick. You watch 30 seconds of Nick Fuentes. You watch like the intro. The next day.
Can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy.
You just watch one segment of Nick Fuentes. The next day, everybody's like, "I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but..." That's all it takes, man. That's why you gotta keep them suppressed in the algo, man. The next day, everybody breaking out the banjo and they got bars now. That was authentic. It wasn't even AI. I haven't even done an AI one like that. She just came straight out. She came into Nick's show. Well, Nick was on her show. And the next day, she's like, "Why can't we question the Jews?" The next day, she's doing freestyles with them.
You built your name on a wall in a promise, but the tide never turned like you said. I'm done.
That's why they gotta teach you to buy into the Holocaust, man. You don't take them down that path when they're young. I'm not bitter or anything. I only bring it up every live. When in high school, after we talked about World War II and the Jews, they took us to see Schindler's List. I love that movie, great soundtrack. Isaac Perlman, great violinist. I used to play the violin. But there's a reason why they gotta take you to see Schindler's List. Because if they don't take you down that path, you might watch 30 seconds of Nick Fuentes and then start doing freestyles with a banjo about why you can't question the Jews. It happens that easily, that quickly.
A song titled "Why Can't We Talk About the Jews," which he dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
Why can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy,
but
I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think
to have the privilege,
maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
Well, Pearl joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of NQ Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction.
I wish Piers would ask me that. Piers, you playing that clip, it makes the point for me. Who cares? What is the problem? There's no violence here. I'm not condoning violence. I'm literally asking a good question. Why is it? Why is it like this? Do you have an answer for it, by the way, Piers? Oh, you know what? I got my banjo here. I got a remix for you. Piers, actually, I might have seen that. I don't remember what happened, though. So I might have to revisit that. But as you can see, this is where that conversation with Nick and Pearl is going to go. And this is going to be very interesting. I think the flip-flop with Trump is going to come up. I'm hoping none of the other stuff has to come up so it doesn't get like sidetracked. Nick's going to want to keep it on the topic, and he's going to dismantle this dude. Like not in a vicious way, in the Christian, nonviolent, peaceful. Nick is taking it to a sophisticated level. I'll be right back. I just got the giggles. Well, I'm like my 6-year-old. My 6-year-old gets the giggles sometimes. But I can't lie. The banjo and the Jews, like questioning the Jews with like the out-of-tune singing it's a thing. It's a thing. Oh, thanks. White Alchemy Studio said that glad I stumbled across this good stuff. Appreciate it. Well, hopefully you still think that after we're done with the show. But that's it. I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna see if there's any AI stuff that I've done that I haven't played yet. I think I haven't played this one. It's kind of corny though.
Yeah. Why they get top tier specialists, urgent script with no debt or dread? Why we get robo collectors, panic attacks, late fee threats in our head? You scream socialism, tyranny, Marxist nightmare, anytime attack on deck. But when it's for your little desert fortress, that's all mutual values, respect, protect. Whole free clinic, trauma word, knee into the
Yeah, Lauren says Donald Trump's approval rating has fallen to 36% in the Gallup poll that was released today. The lowest so far in his second term. Most people are extremely displeased with his job performance. It's unfortunate because he's a lame duck president and he's pigeonholed himself to the point where the only people that will support, that really have full buy-in, not that everyone's against Trump, but the only people that he has full buy-in right now to me from are the full Trumpsters who will, agree with anything Trump says, and Zionists. So normies, basically boomer normies and Zionists, like all the inroads he made with the youth, that's gone. I have the song where the point of that one song I had was that we are not afraid of the word socialism anymore. And he's still like, they're still pushing it like socialism. But wait a second. You just bailed out defense contractors through war contracts, through defense contracts. Now you call it the Department of War. That's not socialism when you bail them out with welfare? But it's socialism if we want universal health care. What? No, I don't care about socialism or communism anymore. It doesn't mean anything. The country you basically forced me to support has universal health care. Once people start finding that stuff out, especially young people are seeing that stuff online, they're like, what the hell? Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, snowy afternoon. It had a little bit of snow here, but then it melted. That's the Denver thing. But yeah, thanks. Yeah, Christian with the $10 super chat. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I respected. Michael says I couldn't be more wrong. And who knows? The polls could be wrong. But I just don't get the vibe Trump has the momentum. But he's a lame ducker. The person who cares about this is J.D. Vance. How is he going to flip the script? I'm sure he's already got stuff planned before it's time. He has plenty of time. They're going to flip it to. They're going to flip the hell away from the Zionist stuff. That's for sure. And they're going to flip it to something else, and everyone will buy in probably.
Tried up the charge, showing 210 mercy in the same tax.
One health net woven tight around a little strip and you call our greatest friend. One freight rope over here you label communist plot if we even try to mend. Why they get top tier specialists hurt?
Let me tell it plain.
So this is the thing, and I wasn't joking when I said the channel might become somewhat AI, to be honest with you, as far as like music now. It's I was joking, but then I wasn't joking. So I played this. Both of these songs, I'll play one more time, have to do with Zelensky and the Nose.
Scandaling.
And the Nose and the Scandals. This one is my version of like a Tekashi 6ix9ine. Because I actually like some of the Tekashi old stuff, and I kind of tried to replicate it that, but this time talking about Zelensky and his nose candy. And then the other one's kind of like Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. Let's play this.
Mass limit. Osiris on a hunt for the green tea, pose a Vogue, cover clout. Hero script written in Hollywood town. Your penthouse, novel kick doors down. Mattresses flip, laptops gone found. Gas in the 400, granny freeze in the dark. Butter skimming millions, war bar, Griffin spark. Color whiskey zoo, private squad with the sharks. It makes red flash when the real monsters bark. Green t-shirt, nose candy, EU money. Rain came due, mask off, coco the news, skirt, skirt. That's Colombian, brrr, left to guys 400, lights out. Brrr. Green t-shirt, nose candy, EU money. Coke, booger, 4K, leave TV. Sniffing on air, Dyson turbo mode. White chunk cone, 22 slug on the desk, reload. 200 bill code, teen snatch a gun point. Churches banned, parties dead. Still no light, sweaty ex-comedian. 8 balls in the palace, Dubai bags heavier. Oligarchs count balance, makeup running, costume ripped to threads. 2025 receipt for the greatest con never said. See the house, foundation crack. Old monsters, new monsters, fighting for the set. You wanna scout, freeze and trench. Sacrifice the one who knows where bodies buried. Green t-shirt, nose candy, money. Rain came due, mask off, cook on the news, skirt, skirt. That's Colombian. Narco club circus, welcome to the EU.